Water, a source of life for people, animals and ecosystems. But how do we know if it's of good quality? The Friends of Groundwater have developed groundwater quality guidelines for regional and national assessment. These step-by-step guidelines have been tested in case study countries Chile, Sweden, Uganda and South Korea. Let's take a look at the case study in Chile, a country with a population of almost 19.5 million people and 5 main regions: the far north, the near north, central, south and far south. Step 1 of the guidelines is to look at the groundwater monitoring network and evaluate it. In the case of Chile, this is managed by the DGA and includes all these monitoring stations. Chile's well-established network, with good distribution of monitoring wells, is considered a Class 1 network, which means it's capable of well representing aquifers in different regions of Chile. Step 2 in the process is data collection and processing. When the data is collected and processed, we can move on to the third step in the process, which is the parameter selection. This happens at 2 levels. Level 1, the core parameters, which provide essential information and include electrical conductivity, acidity and nitrate. And level 2, the additional parameters that include arsenic, fluoride, uranium and several other parameters that serve as indicators of other pressures on groundwater quality. Then we can move on to step 4, which is to assign weights to the selected parameters based on impact. Each parameter gets a certain weight, ranging from 1 being the lowest impact and 5 being the highest. With this information, we move on to the 5th and last step, calculating the groundwater quality index and classification. As an example, we will move to the Rio Maipo basin to see how such calculation would look like. The Rio Maipo basin has 9 parameters, 6 fixed ones and 3 site-specific ones. For each of the parameters, there is a measured concentration in groundwater. This is being compared with the Chilean drinking water standard. This is done by dividing the first with the latter and then times 100, and then you get the sub-index. Each of the parameters also has a weight and a relative weight based on impact. With this relative weight and the previously calculated sub-index, you can now start to calculate the groundwater quality index. First per parameter and then the total. In the case of the Rio Maipo, the groundwater quality index is 59. Now we have our groundwater quality index number. But what is the use of it? Well, with that value we can see in which quality class it belongs. Since the value of the Rio Maipo is 59, it can be considered medium risk. And apart from Chile, the Friends of Groundwater have also tested the guidelines in Sweden, Uganda and South Korea. But it also has potential to be used even more broadly, namely for ecosystem protection. Explore what other applications these guidelines could have. They are now available at www.groundwater-quality.org. And let's work together towards better groundwater quality.